date is May 10th, 1869. The place is Promontory Summit, Utah Territory. It is a happy gathering, awaiting the great moment when a common railroad spike, driven into an ordinary tie, will unite a continent. A gentle breeze blows, and it does. Under an almost cloudless sky, it is 69 degrees in the shade. Above the voices can be heard the sound of the steam locomotives. A polished tie has been placed at this spot by the construction superintendents of 2 railroads. The drama of men's hopes and dreams begins on this May 10th of 1869, and you are here. I welcome you. We are gathered here to join the ends of the earth, to join the raw riches of the American West and the finished products of the industrial East. We also meet with mixed blessings, with the joy that the work of thousands of men has joined the railroad, and with the sorrow we remember for the hundreds of men who gave their lives to the building of this railroad. They finished 6 years ahead of the schedule. We are honored to see here a number of Pacific Railroad officials today. We are also pleased to have reporters from some of America's great newspapers. The telegrapher, who's in his tent, is keeping the entire nation informed of today's events. We are happy to have soldiers of the U.S. Cavalry Infantry here with their band. A second band with their new instruments is here from the Mormon Church in Salt Lake City. Now, Mr. Telegrapher, a bulletin, almost ready. Hats off. The prayer is being given. Thank you, Reverend Todd. Now I present Dr. Durant, Vice President of the Union Pacific, who has 2 railroad spikes. Dr. Durant will then place these spikes in holes already made in the polished laurel wood ties. The ties are down there. You can see them clearly. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not everyday spikes. These are gold spikes made from pure California gold. Oh. Dr. Durant.
Mr. President, the last rail needed to complete the greatest railroad in the world is about to be laid. The last spike needed to join the Atlantic and the Pacific is about to be driven. The East and West have come together. California, where the Pacific Railroad was begun, would like to express her appreciation. From her mines of gold she has given a spike, and from her forest she gives the last tie. With them accept the hopes and the wishes of her people for the success of your railroad.
Thank you, Dr. Durant. We now welcome the gifts of the other... Thank you, Dr. Durant. Thank you, Dr. Durant. Again, and again. Anytime. Now we welcome the gift of the 2 other spikes. One made of silver from Nevada, given by Mr. Triddle, a candidate for governor of that new state. A spike of iron, silver, and gold, given by Governor Safford, the new governor of the territory of Arizona. Yay! Both spikes will be given to Governor Stanford, president of the Central Pacific Railroads. Now, friends, I present a man of vision and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Central Pacific Railroad, Governor Stanford.
Yay! Gentlemen, the Pacific Railroad companies accept with pride and satisfaction these golden and silver spikes. The day is not far away when 3 tracks will be necessary to provide transportation for commerce and travel across the continent. Now, gentlemen, with your help, we will lay the last tie, the last rail, and drive the last spike.
Thank you, Governor Stanford, for your remarks. And now, Dr. Durant, Vice President of the Union Pacific Railroad Company.
Gentlemen, Senator Benton said that someday a giant statue of Columbus should be built on the highest peak of the Rocky Mountains, pointing westward to the great route across the continent. You have made this a fact. This is the way to India.
Hooray! Thank you, Dr. Durant. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just about reached that moment for which you and the nation have been waiting. The driving of the last spike. This silver-plated mall donated by Mr. Coe, president of the Union Express Company, will be now used by Governor Stanford to make a few taps on the gold and silver spikes.
Ooh, take your time.
Now, Governor Stanford will take a few taps.
Both of you guys missed the spike.
Now, at this point, we should explain that the last spike is a regular iron spike, which will be driven with our maul. Both the spike and the maul are wired to the Transcontinental Telegraph wire, so the entire nation can hear the blows as the strike is given. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived, and the whistles will sound across the nation. Dr. Durant and Governor Stanford will now share the honor of driving the last spike in the Pacific Railroad. Gentlemen, are you ready?
We are ready.
Mr. Telegrapher, 3 dots for the start of the blows. ... Oh! Oh! Oh!
Could somebody step forward and give us a helping hand?
Yay! Oh, wow. All right.
Mr. Telegrapher, promontory to the country. Bulletin. D-O-N-E. Done.
Let's give 3 cheers for the Central Pacific Railroad. Hip, hip! Hooray! Hip, hip! Hooray! Hip, hip!
Hooray! Now let's give 3 cheers for the Union Pacific Railroad. Hip, hip! Hooray! Hip, hip! Hooray! Hip, hip!
Hooray! And the continent is joined. Thank you all. Now, I'd like to close by giving recognition to your high country players.
Yay!
First of all, Leland Stanford, president of the Central Pacific Railroad and ex-governor of the state of California. Tucker Bader.
Yay!
Dr. Durant, vice president of the Union Pacific Railroad. Dennis Shirley.
Yay!
And the strange railroad worker who came from nowhere to save the day, Sam Blattner.
Yay!